Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wednesday afternoon conference call with Trusts Unlimited. This is Jim George speaking. I'm the non-attorney spokesman and facilitator for Trusts Unlimited. I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to this call, particularly those of you calling in for the first time and those that will be listening to the replay over the next 24 to 48 hours. Once again, this is going to be a short call. I'm going to be participating in a call in D.C. at 12:15. They've been having these calls recently, and they're very informative. They don't always talk directly about the things we're interested in with regard to the revaluation of the dinar, but they frequently talk about things that are indirectly related to this issue. Unfortunately, these calls seem to be in midweek. I'm from the D.C. area. There's something called the Potomac two-step. It's sort of like a set of rules they live by, and they generally don't get a lot done on Fridays and Mondays because they take long weekends. They leave early on Friday. They get back sometimes Monday morning, so they get most of their work done Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and if you've been paying attention to hearings and things like this, it always seems that it's midweek, and particularly Wednesdays, that they'll have hearings. So I'm going to be getting into that call. I do get some important information. The other thing I wanted to mention is I will be gone for the weekend. I'm going to be in the mountains, and the area that I'm going to be in is very patchy in terms of reception, so I usually get hammered with calls, and I might be in a situation where I literally won't be able to even get to calls, so you'd probably be better off sending an email, but even then I may not be able to access it where I am, but I'll certainly do the best that I can. But I do want to talk a little bit about the situation in Iraq. First, by way of disclaimer, of course, Trusts Unlimited is not the purveyor of the dinar and these other currencies. We're not advocating either the purchase or sale of these currencies, but as rather substantial currency holders ourselves, we're sharing with you the information we think is relevant. I'm still cautiously optimistic for the reinstitution of the Iraqi dinar in the first quarter. Things are moving in the right direction, and all of the news that I have to share with you today is good news. First, it looks like the budget will be voted on and hopefully passed next week. Things are moving in the right direction in terms of revenues. The price of a barrel of crude has gone from approximately $44 a barrel in December to $66 a barrel today. That's an increase of 50% in the price of a barrel of oil. Now, from a general economic standpoint, that's not necessarily a good thing. But from the standpoint of Iraq getting the budget passed, taking care of the deficit, fulfilling their memorandum of understanding with the international communities, it's a good thing. Now, there's a couple of critical benchmarks in the budget. First, projections for revenues in the budget are based on $45 a barrel. So the fact that they're at $66 today means that they'll be running a surplus, which they can use to offset the previous deficits. And, of course, this is what the international community wants to see. The other issue is the dinar will be valued at $14.50 per U.S. dollar. Now, I know this bothers people, but this is actually a good thing, and let me explain to you why. Since the removal of Saddam in 2003, the Iraqi citizens have become understandably suspicious of government and the banking system, so they've been hoarding currency, even though it's declined in value. Now, in order to proceed, the project to delete the zeros, or I like to call it the project to collect the 3-0 notes, they've artificially devalued for a short time the dinar to $14.50. There was even rumors that it might drop to as low as 1,600 dinar per U.S. dollars. Now, what this does is it makes the purchasing power of the dinar nearly worthless, certainly against the U.S. dollar. So this is their method to collect as much of the 3-0 provisional currency as possible. More good news. The UN has removed, I can never pronounce it properly, the Rafidain Bank of Iraq from Chapter 7. Now, this is important because it was necessary for the bank to come out of Chapter 7 in order for Iraq to be moved from Article 14 to Article 8 of the IMF. They need to be Article 8 compliant in order for the IMF to take the dinar out of the program rate. After this occurred, European nations are interested in establishing bilateral trade agreements with Iraq. So this is going to be good for Iraq because in addition to the revenue that they will be generating from the sale of petroleum, they're going to be able to build their agricultural sector, their technology sector, and even establish more of a tourism sector. So this is all very good news. Lastly, the executive branch, which of course involves the Prime Minister and the Minister of Cabinets, have made a formal proposal to the CBI for changing as soon as possible the exchange rate against the dollar to 1-to-1, meaning it would be 1 dinar against $1. This means that the dinar would be a functional currency in country. That means that they would be ready at that point to go to the IMF and petition that the IMF take them out of the program rate. And the rate that they are recommending to the IMF is no lower than 3 dinar per U.S. dollar. So all of this is moving in the right direction. This is why I'm cautiously optimistic for the reinstitution of the dinar in country in the first quarter. Now, there is one possible X factor, and it was addressed last week, and it may be addressed again on this call. I'm going to say this as diplomatically as I can. Joe Biden is an empty suit. He has no core values. His core value is whatever serves Joe Biden is the way he's going to go. So all of the things that he's doing right now are not his ideas. He's simply doing what he's told. Now, it's my belief, based on the things that I've heard, that a lot of the direction he gets is coming from Barack Obama. Barack Obama did not want to see the revaluation of the dinar in 2014. He did not want to see the revaluation of the dinar in 2012. Iraq at the time had Maliki as the prime minister, who for his own selfish reasons didn't want to see it occur as well. So the fact that Barack Obama may not want the dinar to revalue is irrelevant on a couple of for a couple of reasons. First, he's not the president, despite the amount of influence he might have over Joe Biden. And second, the IMF, the UN, the World Bank, Bank of International Settlements, all of these institutions want to see the dinar revalue. They want to see the dinar pegged to the IMF basket of currencies and not the U.S. dollar. The EU has entered formal bilateral trade negotiations with Iraq. So Joe Biden is not going to be in a position to pump the brakes on this thing. So again, I'm going to be getting off in just a moment because I want to get into this call that's scheduled for 12:15. But I'll just repeat it one more time. All of the information is very, very good. We're moving in the right direction. Now, those of us that have been involved in this for a long time, a decade or longer, know that Iraq has repeatedly snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. But I really think that we're closer now than we've ever been, and I really think the forces against the reinstitution and revaluation of the dinar are substantially outnumbered by the people that want to see this happen. So this is very, very good news. Lastly, those of you calling in for the first time, I strongly suggest you go to either YouTube or IQD calls and go to our call of February 17th. That call has all of the information about the turnkey program we've put in place for you, both pre- and post-RV. Very important information there. We're going to be doing a lot after the revaluation and even after the reinstitution of the dinar. Our calls right now marketing our trust package are going to stop, and our calls are going to be based on the management and funding of our trust, the process for the exchange if you have a trust, and then hopefully we'll have some guests, some asset managers, tax specialists, and other individuals on our calls to talk about the things that are going to be very, very important after the revaluation of the dinar. And, of course, you have this wealth that now you're going to need to manage. So, again, thanks for taking the time to listen to this call. The information is exciting, and hopefully this thing will finally get pushed through and we can move on down the road and deal with other issues like management of these funds and providing for our families, our children, and our grandchildren, and provide perhaps some charitable relief for those that really need it. So thanks for listening to the call. We'll be back next week, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.